All right, Dev. We pick up as you leave the Biblioplex to go back to Student Resources to pick up your beloved Viol. And as you go, the energy is still really high. There's a bit less people walking around campus compared to at the Biblioplex, you assume because of things like the orientation. But there are still people milling about. Some students wearing the gray robes of first years, and others wearing a myriad color combinations: black green, black white, red blue, that sort of thing. Uh, is there anything you want to do as you're walking to Student Resources? Do you want me to just take you there?
Go ahead and just take me there for now.
Okay, so you come back up to the Student Resources building, and it's even more empty than it was before. There wasn't really a lot of students there, but you see that it mostly is just the clockwork automatons milling about. And you do see in a corner of this big space is Doriga, the bursar that you talked to earlier.
Yes, and then she's kind of behind her own
Yeah,
desk,
she has
right?
her own like big desk. Like I would say like if we're talking about like a room wide desk with like different sections, she has her own section basically by herself.
hmm Um, Looking around in this office, do I notice like any kind of like postings or like a board of any kind with
You
like,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, whatever you're gonna say.
Just I was going to say just like a board of any kind of listings on it, but you got it.
Oh, okay, cool. So you do actually see that there is sort of like a cork board. It doesn't have a ton on it, but you see a lot of the flyers that are on it are specifically like job postings for places that you can work for like a weekly wage. And there also is like um, even like individual jobs that you can take up. Like I would compare it to like a quest board even.
hmm
Um, and that's mostly what's on this corkboard. And then there's also things like little pamphlets with like directories. So it's like, oh, if you want to talk to like counseling, you go down this hall and go into this room, or if like you have an issue with this, you can go and talk to this person, and that sort of thing.
Interesting. Okay. Um,
Yes.
I think Dove will kind of just glance over that and then walk up to the counter where Doriga is sitting, um,
Okay.
and give a smile and say, "Hello. I know I was just here not too long ago, but I was wondering if my viol was available."
You see, she looks up at you as soon as you kind of walk up, and doesn't really interrupt you as you speak. And as you're speaking, she kind of turns to the side and picks something up, and she actually sets your veal down in front of you, and she says, "Yeah, I was waiting for you to come back. Wasn't too long. Nothing. It wasn't really handled. If damage is something you're worried about, it's good as new."
Oh, of course. I completely trust that you handled it with care. I got caught up in the orientation at the Biblioplex.
Yeah, those are always exciting.
Um, while I was here, I did have a few questions, if that was all right.
She stops her typing and kind of looks at you. Like she has to kind of like turn her head a little bit to the side from her like little screen thing, and she says, "Yeah, shoot."
And Deb will kind of go to pick up the veal from the counter as they speak again, and they say, "I was curious if there was a listing of the clubs available at Strixhaven."
There is. Let me see if I can find it. And you hear some more click clacking on the typewriter. as she squints for a second, and then she kind of leans down and goes to rustle through a like a drawer in the desk, and she's going to hand you a paper. Let me find it really quick. She's gonna hand you a paper. And she says, here's the one we had from the end of last year. These are just all of the official clubs. Obviously, there are other groupings that can happen. People make up new clubs all the time, but these are all of the official ones that we know of so far. But if you're wanting more information, some of those descriptions could be outdated. I know that there's a bunch of people up at the Biblioplex trying to recruit if you're interested in joining clubs early.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. I'll definitely have to take a look over this. Um, is there any other resources that you hand out or recommend to new students?
Are you looking for a job?
Um, Depending on tuition, I may very well need one, so it wouldn't hurt to look around, I suppose.
She gives a bit of a laugh and she says, of course, you know, even in these modern times, a lot of people don't feel so keen to sign papers demons hand them. So if you want if you want income that doesn't have to go through the bursar at all, working is generally the best way to go about it. And she's gonna hand you another paper. And it's gonna be this one. And she kind of rustles around and gets another paper, and she says, these are all of the essentially hourly paid jobs. There are usually individual favors or jobs you can do for other students. You can sell things, you can network with faculty and things of that nature. There are a lot of ways that you can make money on campus. Those are allowed. But if you want to just show up, do work, get paid, these are all of the listings that we currently have available from what I know. You'll have to reach out to the individual areas you want to work in. So if you want to work at the tavern, you have to go and talk to the manager of the tavern. If you want to work with the campus grounds, you need to reach out to the head groundskeeper, that sort of thing.
I see. Well, thank you so much. This is much more listings than I expected.
Yes, a lot of people like to say we're our own ecosystem. We're pretty self-sustaining as a community. As I said, with selling things, there are actually student-run shops on each college campus, not in the central campus, but in the colleges. If you have any skills that would pertain to those, you can always, again, talk to those students, and you can potentially make money that way.
I know you did just say to reach out to uh, the places to apply for any questions, but I did see that you had campus magic clubs.
Yes, we do. They're for experiments, they're for science classes, nature classes, a lot of biology science, and that sort of thing. They are. I gotta look that up. I don't know where those are. Oh no. Yes. So for the Magic Labs, there are a couple different ones throughout some of the campuses. There is one here on the central campus, as well as one on Quandrix campus and one on Witherbloom campus. I can show you about where those are. Give me 1 second. And you see her rifle through her drawers once again and pull out a map of the central campus that looks like the one I sent you. And she is going to kind of denote where on the map the labs are for the central campus so that you can go and visit them.
That's so cute.
Yes.
Um,
And she kind of taps the map and say, you can keep that if you want. I have a ton of them.
of course. Thank you so much. Is it, do the magic labs happen to practice alchemy at all?
Yes, most definitely that sounds like something that lands in their wheelhouse.
Interesting. I may have to give them a visit. Um, well, I can't think of any other questions. I don't know who is behaving rudely towards you and not wanting to sign papers from you, but you've been nothing but helpful and lovely since I've met you. Um, Thank you again, really. It's very new being here.
You see her kind of give her crooked smile, and she gives a nod and says, "Well, thank you kindly. Uh, you know how stereotypes are, but I appreciate you saying that, and I hope to see more of you. On the topic of other resources that you might like to know about, I shared earlier about the magic item rentals. I can talk a bit more to you about those if you like. That's usually something that comes out a bit more the longer you're here, but it is a useful thing to have access to.
That's right, I do remember you mentioning that now. Yes, I would love to hear more about it.
All right, let me get this stuff open. You see her kind of shuffle some of the papers that are directly on her desk, and she kind of like taps them on the desk to straighten them up. And she says, "Well, this wouldn't be a magic school if there wasn't a place where you could get magic items. You can purchase some at the Biblioplex school store, but those don't have the rental aspect to them. That's handled here at the bursary because you will have to sign paperwork. But these are the current items that we offer. Um, this includes its full price as well as the weekly bill that you are billed when you rent them. We do it on a weekly basis. You also can sign paperwork for a rent to own situation on these magic items. That's something that we can definitely figure out. But here is that, if you would like to look at it. And this is sort of like it's almost like a laminated handout, so it doesn't seem like it's one that you can keep, but it is like shown to you as an idea of like what kind of things you can get from the magic rental.
Ooh.
A lot of things.
There's quite the list of things available to rent here. I was not expecting this at all.
Of course, some students and faculty specifically enchant items. And it's just another way that we can sort of make revenue for the people that work on campus. And a lot of these are definitely things that are useful.
Sorry,
So go ahead.
out of character, she said that the rental payment is there's a weekly bill.
yeah, basically you're billed for every week that you have the item.
Mhm.
Oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I think that she was gonna say that sometimes this list does change. It usually changes yearly, but sometimes it can change in the middle of the year as well. It just depends on what they have on hand.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think Dove will eye over the list. But go ahead and hand it back for now, as
Okay.
they don't really have a need for a magic item as of yet.
Yeah.
And just give another smile and say, is there anything else you would uh, recommend? I was taking this free time that we have to kind of accustom myself with the campus grounds and any resources or students or faculty I should meet.
Yeah, of course. Let me. This is kind of everything I have in my wheelhouse, but you were told where the eateries are on campus?
Yes, the Fire Jolt Cafe, Bozen Tavern, and then there is a cafe in the Biblioplex as well.
Yes, okay. There's that. That's cool. As I said, there is a school store in the Biblioplex that sells items. Um, Trying to think of other amenities you would have need of.
If you really can't think of anything, that's all right. I was really just going to walk around until I bumped into something interesting.
Well, there's a lot of those on campus. You might have more fun than that with that instead of me rattling off from papers that I have strewn about.
Right, well, I will leave you to it then, and thank you again for your help. I know you must be very busy at the beginning of the year.
Eh, that's what pays the bills. That's all I do anyway.
Of course. Well, have a good day, and I'm sure I'll see you around soon with more questions.
You too, and have fun. And she kind of
Thank
gives you
you.
like a wave.
Dove waves back and leaves the student resources with his instrument.
Nice, you leave it, and you are in the central campus. Uh, what would you like to do with kind of the first time you've really been left to your own devices?
Yeah, good question.
I can kind of go down a list of things that would you would immediately know that you could go do or investigate if you want.
Sure, I would appreciate that.
Okay, cool. So we'll go down the list. So there is the student activities room that has all the clubs in it. If you want to talk to people who have clubs, you haven't investigated the Biblioplex school store. You haven't investigated either the Bozen Tavern or the Fire Jolt Cafe. Um, you could go to any of the other campuses if you like and just explore there as well. They have their own like things on campus and things happening. Um, you also could go back to the dorm and talk to other students, or you could attempt to go sign up for like a job at the Magic Labs if that's something you were interested in, or you could kind of explore this campus. And if you spend time walking around, I'll basically tell you most visual things of note that you would see in a campus. So you also can spend your time doing that.
Mhm. Actually, give me just 1 second because I wanted to finish looking over the club directory.
That's very fair. I'm gonna pause and go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back.
Okay, so I think with this, I think Dev would be at first most interested in kind of circling back around to the Biblioplex to check out the student store and several of the kind of rooms there that may be of interest?
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that. So you can go on up to the Biblioplex. And you walk underneath the Dawn Bow and up the long sort of bridge that takes you up to it. And let me change the music. Alrighty, we're back to the Biblioplex. It's just as busy as it was when you left it. So you come back up and you enter this sort of main section of the Biblioplex with this giant room. Super tall, you can barely see the edges of it. Filled with milling students. At this point, there's less people running around doing the orientation, but there's still a lot of people hanging out in this area, either talking at these sort of like front seating areas in front of the cafe. And you actually can see on the walls now that there are posters advertising these sorts of jobs that you just got a listing from.
Mm-hmm.
And you see mirroring the room that the cafe is in is another small room that you can assume is the school store if you want to go in there. Or you can go in farther to go into like one of the other rooms, like the student activities room or like the art gallery, or go back up to the stage. You could try to find people you talked to earlier. What do you want to do?
I'd like to check out the student store first.
Okay, you're going to go ahead and check out the student store. Give me just a second.
Should I add in my inventory that I have like a list of like the job listings and clubs?
Yeah, and also the physical like paper map of the central campus.
You said a paper map of the central campus?
Yes. Okay, and as you go up to the school store at the Biblioplex, you see it's kind of tucked in to a room similar to the cafe, kind of mirroring it on the other side of this entranceway. And you see that it is stocked with books, equipment, clothes. You can see on display are a lot of like hats, scarves, like robes, that are like matching color combinations that you've been seeing and embroidered with like these sort of sigils and emblems. Some of them even matching the flag that you currently have. And behind the counter, you see somebody kind of tidying up a pile of papers, looks up, and he says, "Well, hello there." And you see the same faculty member that gave you your little orientation paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello. Long time no see.
And as a refresher on the description, he has long black hair, kept in a stylish ponytail, and wears glasses with a delicate chain attached, wearing gray robes with an embroidered purple scarf.
Okay.
And he kind of beams at you and he says, "Hello, good to see you again. Have you come to peruse my wares?"
Yes, I was actually just at the student resources and is it, sorry, out of character, Doriga?
Yeah, Doriga.
And Doriga actually recommended that I come check out the student store here.
Oh, such a delight. Always getting me business. And he is going to kind of, with a flourish, gesture to you all the things that he is selling. And he's like, "Yes, I sell some things that students may need, or some things that students may just want. All of these, and he kind of gestures to all of the clothing pieces, which include robes, knit hats, scarves, tunics, gloves, and basically any other basic apparel item. And he says, I can make these to measure in any of the colors that you like from the colleges, any sigil. Generally, it's reserved for what year you're in, so I should only be giving you Strixhaven Star merchandise, but it'll be more exciting to have more options next year.
Strixhaven Star, is that the first years?
Yes. So the Strixhaven itself has a sigil, which is the Strixhaven Star, to represent the 5 colleges, centered around the snarl. And it's sort of the emblem of the school as a whole. So generally, you shouldn't be wearing apparel from other colleges. It's kind of an identity sort of thing. But next year, you'll be able to get any of these made with your college's colors.
I see. And actually, I do have a question, if that's all right, about the colleges. I've seen a lot of color combinations that I assume to be from different colleges around, but I'm not sure what all the names are or what colors go to what college.
Okay, so I can tell you those. And more in-depth description will come to you in the rest of your I was going to call it orientation, but that'd be kind of confusing. The first 2 weeks of every year is dedicated to situating yourself at this school. So for first years, you generally have a whole day of study dedicated to each college. But I can give you the basics now to help ease some of the confusion. And he's going to list them off, and I will tell you, and you can write them down.
Please?
Yes. So he's going to start with the first college. Well, they're not numbered, but the first one I'm going to tell you about. There's Prismari. Generally a very fine arts situation. And their colors are red and blue. And he's also going to show you their sigils, but I'm going to send their sigils at the end, and then you can put them in. So that's Prismari. And then there's Lorehold, whose colors are red and white. They're a more historical-based college. And this is their emblem. And he points to one that looks like the one that's on your flag.
Oh!
Yes. Then he says, and then there's Silverquill, which is black and white.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. I'll wait.
You said Silverquill?
Yeah, Silverquill.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it's black and white. And they're generally more liberal arts. They tend to focus around things dealing with like writing, language, that sort of thing. And they have this symbol. And then there is Quandrix, which is blue and green. They're very math-centric, very theoretical. And this is their symbol. And then the last one is Witherbloom, which is black and green, and they are a life science-based college. And this is their symbol. And I will now send you all the symbols.
Thank you.
Yours.
And you said that the Strixhaven Star represents all of the colleges at Strixhaven?
Yeah, all 5 colleges and also the Snarl in the middle. because there's a point for each college, because it's 5, because a star. And there's that emblem.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep on top of this.
No, you're A-okay. Take all the time you need. This is super casual today, besties. I'm also going to send you the list of stock for this store because it's more than just clothes. But I'm going to give you that also since you're here.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna add the emblems at the end, so you're good. I got all my little basic notes.
Okay, cool. Here is the list of items. And he kind of looks to you and gives you a smile and says, I hope that cleared up some of the confusion. What's nice about the uniforms is generally when you look at somebody, you can tell what college they're from, and it's... Sometimes people have sort of a rivalry with that, but generally it's a way to build community and trust.
I see, that is good to know. I was wondering if it would be more competitive due to the different colleges.
It can be sometimes, but it's not generally an issue since mostly colleges kind of do their own thing. They have their own majors, that sort of thing. The competitiveness comes out in, well, for lack of a better way to say it, the things like Mage Tower, or it's sometimes like a more playful thing, like... I'm not sure how else to describe it, but usually when people talk about a rivalry, it's not too big of a deal.
Mage Tower, is that one of the sports here?
Yes, it's the sport here. There are some clubs for sports that are not Mage Tower, but Mage Tower is sort of the well, it's the one of the more exciting events that can happen on campus. It's a sport, only in a loose sense. It's more of a competition, and if you want, I can tell you how you play it. It's very exciting.
I would love to hear more about it.
Yes, so there are 2 teams. It's either between 3 or 5 players, so I have to look it up really quick. Mage Tower. Mage Tower. Okay, hold on. Let me read it really quick. Okay, so 2 teams, they have to be an equal number, but it can't be more than 5. So it can be 2 teams of 4, 2 teams of 2, 2 teams of 5, that sort of thing. And each team will have a mascot, and it's usually representative of one of the colleges, because each college has a mascot. And they're put on these 2 high towers on opposite ends of the field, the Mage Towers. And the point is to steal the mascot and put it on your tower. And that's the game. There are some more nuances to the rules. You can't have any physical contact. You can only use magic, but it can't be harmful magic. So it's kind of a little exercise figuring out how you can win without shouldering somebody out of the way.
No physical contact and no harmful magic.
Hold on, I'll look at the rules directly really quick. You can't do anything that would cause damage. So, I guess you can touch, but you can't, like, you still can't shoulder tackle somebody.
Okay.
And hold on a second, because I remember a rule that isn't on here. So give me just a second. Okay, yeah. Basically, all magic is legal except for one that would damage a player, a mascot, a spectator, or the field. Those are the direct rules, taken from both the wiki and the book.
What was it again?
All magic is legal unless it would harm a player, a mascot, a spectator, or the field.
Okay.
There we go. Yes. And them's the rules.
Dev listens intently and just kind of nods at the end of it and says, I was never big on playing sports myself, but that does sound exciting. I could see how that would be a big event.
Don't worry, I'm not the super sporty person either, but they're very exciting to watch, even if you don't like to play.
When is the first game scheduled to take place?
Well, they kind of. You see, this is a failing of the Strixhaven book because the only time they talk about Mage Tower games is in the third year adventure, so I must die. Give me 1 second. Fuck it. Uh, he's gonna say, well, they happen throughout the year. Generally, there are 2 tournaments in the school year. One in the second quarter and one in the fourth quarter. But you can honestly play a game at any time. All you really need is a team of your own, a mascot, and an opposing team with a mascot. We have a stadium kind of dedicated to that. And there are people who play recreationally. There are people who play. You can honestly go and watch any of the games that happen as well. But the big ones only happen a couple times a year.
I see. All right. Thank you. I just didn't want to miss the first game should it happen soon.
Of course, of course. I'll try to keep an eye out and keep my ear to the ground and let you know if I find out anything.
Oh, thank you. I did also notice that you have some very interesting items in your store here.
I do.
You have a bottle of boundless coffee?
Yes, it's a thermos. You see, he picks it up, and it the one he shows you is purple, a purplish silver color with the Strixhaven star on it, and he says, "I can also get people to engrave emblems on these ones as well, if you like." And he's gonna demonstrate what that is. So let me get the item really quick. Okay, so it looks like a metal bottle with a stopper that's attached to it by like a chain. And he goes to open it, and he kind of wiggles it around, and you can hear liquid sloshing in it. And he says, "This, my friend, is essentially a bottle of boundless coffee. There are times whenever it doesn't always work. There's about a 5%, no, about a 4% chance that it won't dispense any coffee. And if that's the case, it usually needs some time to replenish. But most times, often than not, you can just have endless coffee."
That's fascinating, honestly.
If you have a container, I'll pour you a little bit of it.
Oh, you really don't have to do that. I would feel bad that I wouldn't be able to pay for it.
Oh, well, you can just have a little bit of a sip. I can't let you put your mouth on it, obviously, but I want to
Oh, of
prove to you
course.
that this has coffee.
All right. Let me see if I have anything on me. I don't have any containers on me at the moment. I left them all back in my trunk in my room.
That's okay, that's okay. Another time. But they'll be here anytime you want. And he pats the shelf after he puts it down.
Well, thank you for the offer, though. That's very kind.
Of course, of course. Like, obviously, I can't give it all away, but,
Oh,
like, you know,
I would
you should never accept a magic item until you know what liquid is in it.
Of course. Do you have any other points of interest around campus that you like or first year students who are trying to get used to campus should know about?
Well, I'm sure everyone must be telling you, but Fire Jolt or Bow's End are really the center of life on campus. A lot of people don't, a lot of first years are surprised to hear this, but even faculty members go to those establishments. So it's kind of a place where we all can, like, relax and unwind and kind of mingle.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, they are some of the only eateries on campus, so if you're not on Witherbloom, your kind of only options are those two places.
Oh, does Witherbloom have its own restaurants or?
I'm giving it away. And he kind of looks around and he kind of leans in and he says, so on Witherbloom, you actually can major in things like culinary arts and things like that. So there's a teacher who's a chef who has his own gourmet kitchen. It's kind of like a pop-up shop. You never know where it's going to be at. You never know how much anything is going to be. You never know what you're going to get. But a lot of people like to try to make the trek to Witherbloom to see if they can get something from him.
That sounds amazing.
It is. I've never had a bad thing from Guillaume.
Sorry, I'm just writing this down.
No, yes. I hope you like my super secret info.
I do. This is interesting.
Doesn't it sound so exciting? I'll also spell you the name, he said.
Thank you. Is it pretty easy to spot on campus once you found where it is?
No, because it's not really always in a building.
Is it usually outside?
Well, it's not a restaurant, it's one chef. So if you find him, you get a meal.
I see. More like a stall then? Or just the professor?
You know, I'm not too sure. I found him one time when he was just wandering around, and he took me to a kitchen and made me something. So maybe he has a stall.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was more of like a stall that randomly pops up.
Oh no. It's not like a whole restaurant, you know. It's just a pop-up kitchen.
Well, that sounds lovely. I'll definitely have to go check that out at some point.
Of course, you should. And as a tip, Guillaume is a troll. so he stands out. It would be hard to find him if you didn't know what he looked like.
That is very true.
And he gives you a wink.
I never happened to catch your name, by the way.
Oh.
My name is Dove, of course.
It's nice to meet you, Dove, and it's okay. I've been having a lot of interactions like that. I don't always have to introduce myself and all of that. My name is Graf, Graf Lundquist.
God, no.
I'm sending it to you. I can't copy paste this because it has a link, but I can take a snip of it. Do you like my little store? Do you like my little man?
I do like your little man. He's lovely.
I think he's cute.
Aw, fun. Well, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you again. Everyone's been very helpful since getting here, and it's definitely helped considering that just today I came to an entirely different world and it doesn't feel quite real yet.
You did?
Yes, I'm one of the planes walkers, I believe that they called us. I'm not originally from here.
Oh. Well, that sounds fancy.
I suppose it would be. I wouldn't know though. I've only ever lived in my world.
Well, that's fair. I've only ever lived here, so. Well,
Yeah, of
not
course.
here, not like on
Mhm.
campus, but you know what I
Right.
mean.
Of course. Yes, it's been a jarring change, but an exciting one.
I can imagine.
Are you always at the store? Or
Well, when we're open, we're not always open. See, the Biblioplex, this first floor, is always open, but my store and the cafe over there aren't always open. So you know, I have my time off. I have my meal times. You know.
oh, I would never want to bother you during a meal time.
Of course. But I mean, if you're asking like my job, my only job is working at the store. So if I'm working, I'm here.
All right, that's good to know. Well, I think that was all the questions I had for now. Thank you again. You've been very helpful. I yet to meet someone that isn't incredibly helpful in getting me around the campus here.
Of course, we've got this down to a science at this point. We usually have a lot of new like students, and I mean, if you've never been here before, it's really big, and you don't really know where everything is. So like, it's not. I wouldn't worry about it too much. We're kind of all helping all of the first years get their footing anyway.
Of course. And if I do happen to see Guillaume, is there anything you would like?
Yes. See, if you can find Guillaume, please get me a slice of black bog cake. It's so good. It's to die for.
You said black bog cake?
Yes.
All right. I'll keep an eye out. I'm not sure if I'll go over there today, but I do want to check it out before long.
Of course, you definitely should.
All right. Well, thank you and have a good day.
You too, I'll see you around.
I'll see you around.
And gives you a wave as you walk away.
And walks back out into the biblioplex.
Yeah, you walk out to the biblioplex and you see on this side that the school store is at, there's like couches and tables and there's some chairs over across the way with the cafe, or you could go farther into the biblioplex to like the big area that has like the snarl and the books and like all the tables and the rooms, or you could go somewhere else. I also will say that the teleportation rooms to go to other campuses are also in the biblioplex.
That's right. I think I might check out maybe like 1 or 2 more rooms here that I haven't been in yet.
Okay. The only 2 rooms you haven't been in or haven't been told what they are. 1 second. Because you've been most of the places that are in this place right now, at least on the map. Obviously, you could wander around the library and find books and stuff. But okay, so the only 2 rooms you haven't seen are the student activities room, which you know has the club set up. There's like a student council room, but you don't really know what's in there. And then there's like there's like a handful of like classroom lecture halls that are these private rooms, but otherwise the only things in this area are like the snarl, the gardens, the stage, and then like tons of like bookshelves and tables.
Okay. I think I might head into the student activities room.
Okay, we can definitely do that. I have information on that guy. Okay, so you walk on up and you go to enter this room, and this room is bustling. It's not nearly as big as the main area of the biblioplex is, but you can see that it's already not that big, but it's also crowded with all of these sort of like stalls, these little handmade stalls and tables with posters and stuff for all of the different clubs that you now know are here. And some people have like displays behind them, and a lot of people have like flyers and stuff like that. And they're like, for lack of a better word, they're kind of like hawking their clubs to people that are wandering around if they're looking. So that's fun. So since you've already seen all of the clubs, what I generally did is I did a perception check to see like the club banners. But if you want, you can roll perception, and I can tell you if any people in here are standing out, if you would like. Or you could just go to individual clubs that you are interested in from that list.
Let me take a look really quick through the club listing again.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know what clubs you were interested in.
Could I try to find the live action role playing guild?
You definitely can. So you go around, and you kind of go to look for this stall. And you find it has this big banner on it that says Live Action Role Playing Guild. And you go up to the table. And what's really interesting about this one is that by the time you get up there, there's actually not anybody standing behind the table. But there is like tons of flyers and papers on the table. But as you kind of go to look at them, they're not like officially made flyers. They're just like drawings of different kinds of monsters. And like all of them are different, and all of them are like varying levels of good. Some of them are really bad, and some of them are like pretty good.
That's so cute. And no one's around, you said?
Yeah, no one's in here.
Oh, sorry, I got something in my eye.
That's okay. I'm sorry, bestie.
Ow. Can you pause the recording?
Yeah, hold on, I'll pause the recording. Okay. Uh, feel free to tell me more of your thoughts on the clubs, or just tell me which one you go up to.
Yeah, so after this, I think I would like Dove to try and find where the Mage Tower Cheer Squad is located.
Yeah, so you definitely can. It has this sort of table, kind of in a corner, and it has this really big banner, decorated with like glitter and stuff like that. And you come up, and you see behind the table, is this man, and he kind of has his arms on his he has one arm on his hip and then one kind of near his mouth. And so when I said people were like hawking their clubs, you could hear this man.
Ooh.
Uh, he has been projecting to get attention on his club, especially because it's in the corner. And I will give you the description of him really quick. If I can get to the student list. Okay, and so you walk up, and the man in front of you shines with confidence. Literally. His braided hair burns orange, like red hot metal, and it matches the same bright intensity of his eyes. It looks good against his dark skin, and his smile could light up the room, figuratively. And he has art.
Oh.
Let me give it to you. And he sees you approach, and he gives a bright smile, and he says, "Welcome, come on down. What's up?"
Oh, hello. I was just checking out the clubs. I'm a first year here, obviously. But I did see your banner here, and I just had a question. What is a cheer squad exactly?
Okay, so basically, how to describe it? You don't have a concept of cheerleading, do you?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, so in sports, generally, uh, in sports, you want to like cheer for your team. You want to like make them feel hyped up and stuff. So what a cheer squad does is a cheer squad helps uh, fans cheer during sports games, but also um, we do like little like performances like acrobatics and gymnastics, and we do all of these cool like chants and stuff. You look like you'd make a pretty good flyer if you wanted to join. I could show you the ropes.
A flyer?
Yeah, so a flyer is generally somebody who's a bit shorter, a bit lighter. No offense. And you so there are these things called stunts, right? And stunts are when
Mhm.
multiple people pick up a person and they hold them up and they throw them in the air and they do cool things.
Oh, all right. Sorry, out of character. I know that he has art, but how did you describe him again? You said his hair burns like bright orange.
Yeah, like red hot metal, and it's the same intensity of his eyes. He basically gives off a bit of a glow. Also, I described this incorrectly because now that I'm looking at his art, it's not braided. I think it's more like dreads or twists. Apologies.
Mhm. Thank you. Sorry, I just like to keep on top of descriptions.
No, you're a-okay. I'm glad you're interested.
Yeah, and I love his art.
I do!
um, and Dev kind of smiles and says, sorry for my lack of knowledge about this. I'm very new to this everything, really.
No, it's
It does
okay. I
sound
definitely get it.
it does sound very interesting though. The official signups are in about 2 weeks, correct?
Yeah. So you can officially sign up in 2 weeks, but the reason why we kind of have this set up is kind of because, like, if you want to hang out with clubs, and he does like finger quotes, like unofficially, you can technically do club activities before then. So like
Okay.
you have 2 weeks to sign up, but you could come to practice anytime you want. And he gives you like an expected look with like a grin.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, I would love to see you in practice if that would be all right.
Yeah, so we actually have a practice. It's technically more like a tryouts. We do tryouts, but it's mostly just a place where you would go. We have like a tryouts, like refresher, like practice, like later today. I want to say maybe like mid twilight about. If you want to come then.
He said later tonight at like twilight.
Yeah, later today at mid twilight.
I could come to that, yes.
I'd love that. Yeah. He goes to hold out a hand. Do you shake his hand?
I do.
Nice. He
And-
gives you a firm handshake and puts like a hand on your shoulder, and he says, "Nice to meet you. I'm Xanther. What's your name?"
My name's Dove.
Nice to meet you, Dove.
It's nice to meet you as well. Looking at him, does he have like first year robes on? Does he have like a combination of colors?
He has a combination red, blue, and white outfit. Ignore the outfit in his art. That's not the one I'm using.
Mm.
This book makes you want to make everybody a first year, but I think that doesn't make sense because they already have colleges and majors picked out.
Mhm.
So you would know from his outfit that he is probably Prismari.
And what do you do on the team?
Oh, I'm a flyer. I'm a flyer. I don't. Some people say that I'm like captain, but I don't really believe in like captains and stuff like that. But generally, I do the more out there stunts. Like if something seems a bit more tricky and they want to toss up somebody that's really experienced, they would toss me up instead of some of the newbies.
I see, all right. Should I take any pamphlets or flyers with me at all?
Oh, you can definitely take a pamphlet if you want. It's really up to you. And he goes to hand you one off the table, and it's kind of like a folding pamphlet, and it has a bunch of like really fun I wanna say like figure drawings of like different poses, and some are like doing like cool acrobatics and stuff like that. And like it basically is just talking about like when practices generally are, where they are, and then it's like goes into detail about like different positions that they need, certain traits that they're looking for, and that sort of thing. It's like a full pamphlet instead of a flyer.
Okay. And where did you say the tryouts would be happening?
Generally, we have it over in the Aerojaunt field. It's kind of just the best way to. It's kind of the best place to do it. Sometimes we use the stadium, but the stadium is usually where other sports do their sport things. So we tend to just find a corner of the Aerojaunt field and use that.
The Aerojaunt field, where is that located?
That's gonna be. Let me point at it on the map.
He's so handsome.
He's so handsome and he's so cute. I love him to death. On the map, it's over here. And it's spelled Aerojaunt. field.
Thank you.
Here.
So, does this mean that you're part of the Prismari College?
I am, yeah, freshly indicted.
And do they make you pick the college? Is it the second year or?
Yes, you generally pick it at the end of the first year, but like the end, like day before second year situation.
Oh, that's quite late into it.
Late into what?
Oh, I suppose a whole year and then you pick your college? I don't know.
It's kind of they told me it's to instill like the whole reason you come to Strixhaven is to like find yourself, right? Like you can a lot of people come with the college that they're intending to do, but a lot of people spend the first year like doing general studies, or it's also good for like if you come and you don't really know what you want to do yet. You kind of figure out your magic and you figure out what college best suits you, cuz like each college has their own like I guess like campus culture is like a thing. Like I don't know. I feel like people in different colleges kind of like have their own way of doing things and their own skills, and like I don't know. I feel like you figure that out the longer you're here. I feel like it would have been more jarring to have to pick immediately, to be honest.
Oh, yes, I was not complaining after everything today. I don't know if I would be able to pick where I'm going to end up for the rest of the 4 years either.
Well, yeah, that's like the thing. I mean, like you always can like switch colleges. Like I've heard that that's like a thing, but like I mean, who wants to pay for extra years? Am I right?
Of course. Right, well, I suppose I'll see you then tonight at the Aerojaunt field.
Yeah, I'll see you tonight.
Are you
And he
going to
gives.
be,
Sorry, good.
sorry, are you going to be in the performance as well?
Oh, definitely. Well, we might not be doing any like big performances yet. Like again, it's gonna be us like sussing people out, seeing what they can do and that sort of thing. But like, if you find me, I'll be like, me and some of the second years will probably be directing people. So like, you can come find me and I can like show you what's what. We can like watch and I can tell you about stuff.
Thank you, you've been very kind.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that, but I mean, like, I don't know. We might be on the same club and we're in the same school, and like, I mean, like, why wouldn't I? You're cool.
Thank you, you're cool as well.
You know, I hear hot more, but cool's fine.
Both works for you, I think. You are very handsome. I'm sure you hear that often, though.
Dove, you flirt.
You started.
You hear him kind of give a laugh, and he says, thanks, that means a lot.
Sorry, I don't know how to respond to that.
No, you're okay.
Oh my god. That's such an awkward response.
Yeah, that was on purpose, don't worry.
Oh. Sorry, I don't know what to do. Oh,
I broke
he's gonna
Mackenzie.
hate me. He's gonna hate me.
Why is he gonna hate you?
Dev just gives like kind of like a reassuring smile, like that way that you do where you're just like, oh, don't think like too deep about it, that kind of smile, like
Mhm.
just reassuring. And he just says, sorry, I wasn't trying to make you uncomfortable at all.
Oh no, I mean, like I appreciate it. I don't know. It's not something that I like hear a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just some guy, you know.
I don't know if I could adequately describe you as some guy, considering that you brighten up this part of the room.
Aw, shucks. That's really kind of you to say. I try to bring like that sort of energy, like on field and off field, you know?
I can see that already. I think it's nice to have. I know that you don't want to describe yourself as the leader or captain of the team, but I think it's important to have a person with influence, shall we say, that helps keep the morale of the rest of the team up and keep it friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that doesn't sound so bad, huh?
You can just think of yourself with a man with more experience than the others, too, if it helps.
Sorry, a car turned on its headlights directly into the window, and I'm like, hello?
Oh,
Um, oh, okay, what is he gonna say to this? I think that he would kind of like wave a hand and be like, well, I don't know if I have like more experience than everyone else. There are like third and fourth years, but like, thanks. I'm glad I like come off like I know what I'm doing.
well, of course, you're here and you know what the cheer squad is, and I did not know. I will also say, before you have expectations, I am not quite athletically minded. I'm not sure how much goes into your performances, but if I'm being honest, I'm quite weak.
I uh I think he's gonna actually like give you a once over, and he's gonna kind of like look at you like I don't want to say the phrase like inspect your body because that feels really weird, but like he kind of is doing that.
Mhm.
And he says, I don't know, I think you could maybe, I mean, like, you look like kind of lithe. Is that like, is that more your alley? Like
Um,
dexterous, nimble?
more dexterous, I would say, yes, but
I mean,
strength-wise, nothing.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, a lot of flyers don't need any strength. All the people do is toss you around.
Oh, then I suppose it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, just give it a shot, maybe. I can show you the ropes, and if you want, maybe we can toss you a little bit later. See if you like it.
Sure, that doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah.
Right, well, thank you so much. It has been lovely hearing about the clubs here and such.
Yeah, there's some really cool clubs around here. If you are also interested, I know you said you weren't like sporty and stuff, but like if I mean if like cheering is something that interests you, you could always, check out the other club that I'm in.
Oh, you're in two clubs.
Yeah, so I'm also in um I'm also in the intramural gymnastics club.
Oh, I did see that on the listing. Is what exactly do you do in that club?
Well, see, that one is more like, well, at least I'm into the rhythmic gymnastics part of that, right? So I do like floor routines, I do ribbon, I do hoops, stuff like that. But like you also, like, I know there's people who work like the bar, there's like acrobats, things like that. It's just kind of like a general gymnastics group, but we do some competitions sometimes.
Right? I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, and that's also like another thing that you don't need like a lot of strength to do. It's all nimbleness. It's all in the way you move your body and stuff.
Hmm.
But like no pressure or anything.
Oh.
You're cool. I'm not being nice to you just because you might join my club.
You know, when you say that, it makes me think.
What? No, I would never do that. I would respect you the same, even if you didn't join my club. But it would be cool if you did, because then we could hang out all the time. You know?
Yes, I think I see where you're coming from. Well, you've been very persuasive, I must say, and on the first day, no less, you've really been putting the work in already.
Thanks. I've been putting a lot of elbow grease. I've been here practically all day, except for like the occasional foray back on campus. I'm hoping I can net another 5 today. I think that'll be a nice goal.
5?
Yeah. You need a lot of people.
That is very true. Well,
You gotta keep
I will
your
be
you
there.
gotta keep your aspirations high. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Dove just nods and says, I think it is nice to have lofty goals. There's nothing wrong with that. But I will see you tonight.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.
And as you kind of walk off, you get like a couple tables away, and then you hear Xanther's voice go, "Let's fucking go!"
Oh my god. like I assume in response to like getting like a would-be possibly recruit.
It's really good too, because it's like he's been like hawking and yelling this whole time, but like getting a potential recruit is just like, oh yeah, we're putting so much more energy into it.
Oh, that's so
Get the
cute.
fuck over here. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's so cute.
I like Xanther a lot. I think he's really fun.
I really hope I didn't ruin our friendship, but he seems like a cool guy.
No, he's really cool. I don't think you did bad.
Sorry if I ever seem awkward. It's like sometimes I just don't know what to say, and Dove is really charismatic, but sometimes I don't know what to say, so it comes off as really awkward.
No, it's okay. If you think that his response was awkward and it made you awkward, that was the intent.
Yeah. Okay, so that was fun. I'd actually like to see if I could find where the Play Actors Drama Guild would be.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me see if anybody's here.
So has anyone else talked to Xanther?
No. Well, somebody saw him, but somebody didn't talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I like him a lot. Like him a lot.
What is like the time frame of the mini session, by the way?
Like
our free time?
Oh, like time that you've been in here?
No, sorry, like the other mini sessions, like what time did they go until? Like end game wise.
Oh, in game, I'm not keeping a hard track of it because that was kind of difficult in Baldur's Gate. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like aggregate what everybody did, and I'm gonna just start off at a specified time a little after that.
Okay, cool. Because I was like thinking, I'm like, it
Yeah,
would be
no.
cool to go to this like by myself, but if we like run short before, mid twilight, that's fine.
No, yeah. I'm not gonna really worry about that in particular because like I said, it was kind of difficult in Baldur's Gate whenever I would be like, okay, how long do you want to do this thing? And somebody would go over by an hour, and I would have to go to the other person and be like, okay, what do you do for an hour and a half? Okay, what do you do for like an hour? You know, that sort of thing. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just gonna figure it out. I already know what time I'm gonna start the game, so if you go over, then I'll just tell you. But I'm kind of just keeping it to like the 2 to 3 hour mark of recording, and then we'll figure out the time when we get into game.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're definitely not near Twilight, though.
I figured.
Yeah, I want to say with what you've been doing now and what you did all day today, something you would actually notice is very interesting, is that after a while, because you can really clearly see the sky in the Biblioplex because of all the open windows, you kind of see the light outside dim a little bit, and it looks almost like you would imagine like right before a sunset, but then it doesn't get any deeper. And so now you're in like a portion of the day that's like dimmer sunlight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's 2 suns.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna go over to the Play Actors Drama Guild, right?
Yes.
Delicious. So, you go up to it, and it has this sort of elegant but simple design. It has like the table set up just the same as everybody, but it has this sort of banner that has Play Actors Drama Guild in this sort of like curling like calligraphy, and it has like some more of like the flyers that you got earlier. And as you get closer, you notice the same man you saw standing outside during your orientation, Mr. Quintilius.
I love him.
And he sees your approach and he says, "Well, hello there. I didn't think I'd see you again so soon."
Hello, I just figured I would take a look around the clubs while I was over here.
Of course, there's a lot of them. So that's completely understandable. It's good to get a lay of the land before you really decide on any of them. But have you thought much more on my proposal?
I have actually. I was actually coming over here because I had a few questions. So do you also have tryouts?
We have tryouts, but for individual productions. You can join the club no matter what your speciality is, but you would have to try out for any of the roles you perform in.
Of course, I thought so.
Yes.
Are you going to be having a play anytime soon?
Right now, see, the first couple weeks are always a bit tricky to get everybody together. It's still really busy. But if we have a good turnout from club selection, preferably we would start casting then. We don't have scheduled events throughout the year because of how personalized the craft can be, but hopefully we can start practicing, and then a couple weeks later we should be able to have a full production.
I see, all right. I would be very interested in still potentially joining the club. But I was just curious about how tryouts would work and things like that.
Of course, understandable. It is very few people join this guild without the intent of wanting to be in a play, so wanting to know how that works, I think, is an important aspect of it.
Thank you. I'm glad it's not rude of me.
No.
So, I assume that you would be an actor within the guild then?
I am, yes. And he kind of preens as he says it a little bit.
Oh, he seems the type.
Yeah.
I would be very curious to know what kind of roles you've played in the past.
Well, I've been told I have a very powerful presence on stage. Lately, I feel like I've really come into my own in more lead roles, not necessarily heroic ones, but I've been told that my, well, for lack of a better term, romantic roles, I've been told are definitely up there.
Oh, romantic then.
Well, that's just what people say, you know.
Does he look proud of himself when he
Yeah, oh
says
yeah, oh
that?
he looks like he's sucking his own dick right now.
Of course, people will say you're good at one thing, but if that's what you really prefer or not is completely up to you.
Well, I don't mind them too much. I think that they definitely have their own. I feel like you can find ways to shine in those roles that you can't when you play a more heroic lead.
Of course. Do you get many of the leading roles then?
If I'm not the lead, I'm definitely in the main cast, if that answers your question.
Oh, you must be very talented then.
Thank you. My dedication to the craft is absolute.
How long have you, well, even before the Play Actors Guild, have you always had an interest in acting?
I have. I came to Strixhaven specifically to pursue acting. I came with the intent of joining Prismari, and lo and behold, and he kind of like adjusts his lapel. And he says, I hate to say it, but my backstory is rather dull. From a large family that loved to go to the theater together, and it just instilled in me a want to be on that stage.
Well, I think that's a very romantic story, even if a simple one. Not all heroes have to have tragic, elaborate backstories, you know? Sometimes the ones that stand out the most in their journeys are the ones that have simple, humble beginnings.
I'm glad you understand. And he gives you like a little wink. But tell me about what other clubs seem to have grabbed your attention, if not mine.
Well, yours is, if not the main one I've been interested in just due to what I did before coming here. The cheer squad did definitely catch my attention though. Santa was also very kind when I was over there.
Yes. He has been, he's nice. I like him. He, however, has been my biggest rival as far as recruits. So
It does
I can
seem like
understand.
there's an overlap in the performing aspect in a way.
Yes. I think the ones that have the biggest pull from our own pool of performers are the cheer squad and also the show band.
I did also notice that there was a band club. I do play a few instruments myself, but I'm not sure if I would be interested in joining a band over performing as an actor.
I think that's completely understandable. It's not technically orchestra, but it's like there's less individuality in it, I feel, when you're a part of a bigger whole performing like that.
I can understand where you're coming from with that. It does produce a lovely melody, but as an actor, I feel like you're doomed to want to perform on your lonesome, which of course there's no problem with.
Of course, and I don't mean to say that I don't respect the other people on my stage, of course, the other actors, backstage crew members, directors, and that sort of thing. But I suppose I enjoy the spotlight a bit too much.
I feel like I've noticed that, but there's really no fault in that. I mean, you can enjoy the spotlight just as well, knowing that, you know, you have a whole group of your own behind you making the production happen.
I'm glad to see that you understand what our guild is about. Do you have acting experience?
In a way, I would say yes, though not nearly anything as professional.
Well, we all start somewhere, and having... From the way you speak, I feel like your experience is definitely enough.
Oh, thank you. I do think I am talented at what I do, and if not, then I feel like my family would be disappointed in me.
I'm sorry, that's a really funny thing to say. Somebody you just met. I'm sorry, that's really funny. Um,
He looks entirely like joking when he says that, because like he knows that what he does is good because he's been doing it his whole life.
oh yeah.
Like, it's that like joking way of like kind of an inside joke.
No, 100%. It just felt very much like family disappointment jokes, and I thought that was very funny. That's definitely up my brand of humor, but I get what you mean with Dove.
Yeah.
I feel like Quintilius laughs at that, and says, fair enough. Did your family also love the theater?
It's actually interesting because my experience is due to my family. We had I would describe it as my family had an inn, but we were more of a specialty in that our inn rooms we could our clients would basically want rooms to be set up to relive an experience or practice a debate coming up, things like that. We could make the room be suited for any kind of situation or experience they would like, and we would play out the role of the character in the story, essentially.
That
We
is fascinating.
Thank you. I am a changeling, and I can actually change my appearance to most humanoids.
You can.
I can, yes. Would you like an example? I can do it right now.
I would love to see you do that.
And Dove kind of takes a moment and will go ahead and change his appearance to look like Quintilius.
You see him like taken aback, and he looks at you, and you see he looks for a long second. And I would say that I think that like you can glean from how he's looking at you, especially because I feel like this happens to changelings a lot, where you know how people can roll to see through an illusion? You feel like he's actively trying to see, the cracks in the illusion, but there isn't any because you're a changeling. And he says, "That's amazing."
Thank you. And yes, it's not an illusion. This is my appearance now. You can feel if you'd like. It's your hair, essentially. And Dove will also go ahead and speak, and I don't know if I'll be able to emulate this, but he will be speaking with Quintilius's voice because it's been well over a minute.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah.
Yeah. And he will go ahead and say, and of course, I can also emulate voices of people that I hear speak often enough and study them.
I think as soon as you say that, like, it's okay to touch, Quintilius does actually reach out to touch you, and he does this thing where he kind of puts, like, a finger on your chin to kind of, like, turn your head this way and that to, like, look at your face that's essentially his face. And he says, after, like, a long minute of, like, looking you over, and he says, "Now, my dear, I simply can't take no for an answer anymore. I simply have to have you in my guild."
And Dove will change back to their appearance, and they just kind of laugh to themselves, and they say, "Well, thank you. That is very much an honor to hear."
Of course, and I mean it with every ounce of emotion that I have in my breast. I have to have you in my guild.
You have to.
I do.
Well, thank you. Again, it's not exactly professional experience, but given my makeup and given my experience of fulfilling roles in the specialty rooms of my inn, it has been handy.
Of course, I can imagine it has. I mean, even if you don't immediately get star roles, you would make a perfect understudy. You could be anything you wanted.
Of course, but it's one thing to look the part and another to embody it. And I don't think you would be in any danger of me stealing your roles or any of the like. And I don't want to join with the intention of stealing roles from anybody either.
You see he's kind of looking at you with like this smile as he's like thinking over what you said and what he's about to say, and he says, "Every moment with how you speak about acting and about the stage, I think more and more that you understand far more than you give yourself credit."
Thank you, but I am just a humble changeling. And Dove goes to just give an exaggerated bow.
He gives like a really light like applause, like the little like slow clap. Well, mark me impressed. I love these two theater kids. I love that
They
they're just
are.
gassing each other up.
Oh,
Sucking
I
their
love
own dicks like an
Quintilius.
Ouroboros.
I didn't know how he would react to that kind of stuff, so like seeing him so excited to be like, I cannot let you go anymore is like it makes me so excited.
I think it's so fun. I think it's so fun. I have all of these plans. I love, man. No matter what clubs you join, I have characters that would feel things, and I'm very excited about that.
But rest assured, I am the most interested in joining this club at the moment. You're definitely a good sell.
Thank you. It's why I'm here, manning the stall. But I will wait on bated breath until I can get your sign-up sheet, as it were.
Well, thank you, and I hope you have even more turnout today.
Of course. And if you ever so want, me or one of my colleagues will always be here, as well as you can easily find us on the stage outside, or if you want to find, well, if you can find the Rose stage, that's also a place where we tend to practice. So you can always find me at one of those places.
The Rose stage, is that in Central Campus or is that in Prismari?
It actually is in Silverquill, but the Rose stage is the most impressive stage in all of Strixhaven. You should check it out. It's breathtaking to behold.
I will. I'll have to go visit that. Sorry, I'm writing this down.
No, that's okay. I actually have to pause because I have to use the bathroom. Okay, we're unpaused, so anything we say now can be canon.
Okay. And I feel like Dove will just smile at that. I'm just like generally really pleased that Dove isn't as pompous or narcissistic as Quintilius is, but there's still an air of like, when you know you're good, and he is a little bit theatrical, just a little bit. So it's very much a kindred spirit, I think Dove is feeling with this man. And yeah, and I think Dove will speak up again and say, because I've met a few people here and there that aren't from this world, did you grow up here or did you come from a different plane?
You know, I don't know if I've ever been asked that question. I'm Arcavian, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, apologies for the intrusive question, possibly. A lot of other first years, and myself included, aren't originally from here at all.
Really?
Yes, I actually come from a world called Eberron.
That's interesting. I haven't heard anything about this.
The term is planeswalkers, I believe they're using, and I think it's rather new that they invited us here.
And how many first years are from other worlds?
I've not met all of them, but there's a handful for sure that I've known already.
Well, that's certainly interesting.
I feel like they stand out when you see them. Like myself, I've seen some that have a uniqueness about them if you can find it.
Oh, I guess that is true. You did tell me that you were a changeling. I thought you were just a core.
I have seen another core, and luckily, there is actually another person here from the same world as I am, and he beat me to that embarrassing question.
Well, you'll see a handful of other core here, so I suppose finding that out and getting that out of the way isn't too bad.
Yes, it's good to know now than find out later. Are you also from... Is it Havenfell? Heavenfell?
Heavenfell is where Ashan is from.
Are you also from Heavenfell?
No, I am actually from... Give me a second. Actually, no, I am from a city called Silk Meadow. It's on the other side of the mountains.
Well, that's a lovely name.
Thank you. I think it's beautiful.
You said it was on the other side of the mountain?
The mountains.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's been lovely chatting with you, but I can let you get back to recruiting if you'd like.
Of course. Well, you know where to find me.
I do, and I'll definitely be sure to check out the stage.
You definitely should. I think you'll find much of interest. And you see him kind of dramatically go to put a hand over his chest and give you like a really small bow right before you walk away.
I love that so much.
I like him.
I like him.
We gotta reset the equilibrium. You gotta meet some hot ladies.
I know. I keep seeing all these hot dudes. Where are the hot ladies?
There are hot ladies. I'm sorry that I'm hiding them from you.
It's okay.
You'll find some. I promise.
Yeah. I think the last one I'll check out while I'm here is the Horticulture Guild.
Okay, yeah, you can walk over. And it has it's got this table, and it has a banner that says it in pretty plain script. And you see on the table it actually has a couple like really cool and weird looking plants in like pots. And you walk up, and you actually recognize the person behind the table. You recognize the orc that you met earlier.
Orcman.
Orcman, yes. And you see him kind of adjust his glasses as you walk up, and he looks down at you and says, "Oh, hello."
Hello. Thank you for your help earlier.
Of course, don't mention it. It's far better to... Well, it's just nice to get the things that they give you as prizes, so...
The mascots were very cute.
They are very cute.
Are you the... Oh, I don't know what to call it. The leader of the Horticulture Club? The captain? I really don't know what to call it.
You see him kind of go to clear his throat. It sounds almost kind of like a laugh, and he says, "Well, since all of the clubs are student-run, there actually isn't leaders or captains per se of clubs. It's generally just a group of people who do similar things. But I am a member of the Fantastical Horticulture Club, yes."
I did notice that you were attending the gardens out in the Biblioplex earlier. Is that one of the duties?
It's just something that I like to do. They can generally grow fine on their own, but I like to make sure that they have a bit of extra pep in their step.
Well, I think that's lovely of you to do.
Thank
I
you.
did notice. I did notice on the club directory that you mix magic and gardening.
Yes, so generally, um, fantastical horticulture includes gardening and growing plants. Um, we also make new strains, but as a Strixhaven club, we generally not only employ the general scientific ways of growing plants, but also tend to use magic to help our endeavors. Many of our students are Witherbloom, so it kind of goes hand in hand with the studies of that college.
Oh, yes, that's right, because it's life science.
Yes, officially it's called the College of Life Essences. Um, so things like biology, anatomy, people who go into medicine, that sort of thing. There's a lot of focused study on the cycles of life and death.
That sounds fascinating. Is there a way to obtain or buy herbs and the like on campus? Or would you have to grow it yourself?
I suppose it depends on what you're looking for. Generally, students who are looking for certain herbs will generally gather them themselves from Sedgemoor, or I mean, we as a club also grow uh, plants and herbs as well, so I suppose you could always ask if we have some that we can prune or spare. If you are looking for more things medicinal, though, I would suggest you contact the Witches Clinic.
Oh, I have heard about that. You said Sedgemoor?
Yes, Sedgemoor is the name of the bog that Witherbloom campus is on. It's called Sedgemoor.
And that has herbs and the like growing in it?
Well, yes, it is a wilderness area of various levels of mundane and magical plants. It is a swamp, but there are generally a great many specimens you can find roaming around. It's, if I recall, one of the only campuses where you regularly go into the wilderness around it. So generally that's where you would go to gather, if gathering is what you want to do. Obviously nobody is stopping you from growing your own herbs. It depends entirely on what you want and how much you need.
Sorry, hold on.
No, you're good. Take your time.
Oh, and I apologize. I never caught your name earlier. My name is Dove.
Dove, nice to meet you. My name is Urzmak Tok Grosh.
A name.
I am sending it to you right now. Don't even worry about it. Here it is. Urzmak Tok Grosh.
Oh my god.
Urzmak Tok.
Grosh.
Yes.
Does it look like he's part of Witherbloom?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What's really fun is I haven't described Witherbloom's costumes just yet. Oh, not costumes, uniforms. So it's black and green, but it covers a lot of times. You can make uniforms look like anything you want, but a lot of times they have like overarching themes. So like a lot of Prismari uniforms will have red and blue, but they'll have like white as like an accent color, and they have like frills and stuff.
Mhm.
Witherbloom is black and green. It usually covers a lot of skin, their uniforms, and there's like always like a web motif to it.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I think the uniforms look really fucking cool.
Awesome. Dove just nods and says, "Thank you. I only ask because I like to brew tea whenever I can. Um, I just figured I would ask."
Of course. If you joined the Fantastical Horticulture Club, you would have access to an easier way to uh, grow your own herbs if you would like, or we also work with students who want to do it recreationally in their free time, if that is the preferred way that you would like to get herbs.
I see. That sounds very interesting. I ended up going through quite a lot of plants back at home, considering that I had interest in alchemy, medicine, and tea.
Ah, so you're also interested in alchemy?
I am. I practice it whenever I can.
Another place of note you might have interest is the magic labs. Generally, if you want to do things that are easier to do with certain tools, you can do your own labs there.
Oh, trust me, when I heard that there were jobs hiring at the Magic Labs, I inquired about it immediately.
Oh, you're going to work in them?
Possibly, I haven't quite decided yet, but I figured it would be nice to have a job, to help bring in extra coin to help pay for tuition or any extra things I'd like.
He nods and he says, "That's understandable. There's a lot of things on campus you need coin for."
I've noticed that already. Quite expensive.
Yes. Well, I understand that a lot of the magic items are already cheaper than they would be not on campus. It's still a lot out of a student's salary, but I guess that's why they give out the loans and that sort of thing.
It is kind of them to do. I don't mean to complain at all.
I'm not bothered if it was a complaint or not.
So, you came to Strixhaven to join the Withermoon campus then?
Yes, I ended up joining Witherbloom. I was debating between Witherbloom and Quandrix for a while, but Witherbloom is where I get more classes revolving my studies. Lately, I've been focusing on trying to develop subspecies of plants that can help yield, well, both more, like higher yields, but also new ingredients for potions and the like.
Really, that's amazing.
Thank you. It is a hobby.
Do you also have interest in alchemy?
I have a bit in alchemy, though not quite as much. I like to focus more on the development of the ingredients, but I know a bit of alchemy and herbalism just from the information I know about my plants. I do see my fair share of it, though, in my job. Uh, I You expressed interest in working at the campus magic labs, but that is actually where I work. I work as a specimen preparer and hireable lab partner if you have no one to help you with your experiments.
Oh, when you say specimen preparer, I did see that on the job listing, but when they mean specimen, I assume they mean a wide variety of things, but does that typically include things like plants, or live creatures?
It can be both. It depends on what is needed. Generally, I keep specimens stocked and prepared for common sorts of things people use the labs for, like specific plants, specific ingredients for specific potions, um, some live creatures for study or dissection. Not quite as many, but that is an option. Witherbloom tends to deal more in that on that campus instead of the one on the main campus, but to prepare specimens, you take specimens that are brought and prepare them for ease, or I can also be asked to procure specific specimens, but that is less of a guarantee since I am only working the time allotted and not until I find what you're looking for.
Interesting.
Not a particularly hard job.
Sorry, out of character, this guy has such low, chill energy that, like, he doesn't seem like he's, like, enthused or excited about anything.
Thanks. I try to make all these NPCs sound different.
You do, you're doing a great job. I'm just
Nice.
trying to write down notes between everything.
How you like my orc?
I love him.
Nice. I'm sorry I keep showing you boys.
It's okay, I just keep going with this boy. Can you actually pause really quick? I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, let me pause really quick. Okay, we are unpaused. What are you doing?
Right.
Still talking to man?
Yes, I think just a little bit more. You do seem like you have quite the interest in science and horticulture specifically. Are you planning on going into something related to plants or potion making once you graduate?
I have thought about it, though exactly what type of work I'm going into is undecided.
I think that's very fair. I mean, 4 years is a long time to choose that.
Generally, you choose your major sometime in your 3rd year, so I still have a bit of time to go.
Oh, understandable. Are the other members of the horticulture club, are they also in Witherbloom?
Generally, people in the horticulture club are from Witherbloom, though we do have the occasional Quandrix.
I suppose I could see the overlap there, considering, well, all I know about Quandrix so far is that it's very mathematical.
It is. It's more theoretical science based, but they do have overlap with Witherbloom in that they do sort of focus on green mana as one of the bases to their magics.
I see. Well, it has been lovely meeting with you, and even if I don't join the club, my hobbies do definitely overlap, so if you don't mind, I may take up on the offer of seeing if you ever have spares on herbs or plants.
Of course, just reach out. I can't always promise that we'll have what you're looking for, but if we have it to spare, I don't mind.
Of course, and I wouldn't just take from you without giving anything in return. You'll just have to let me know what your favorite kind of tea is, or if I could make you, like, soap or oil or perfume that you'd like. Deb just smiles.
Oh, you're so cute. I think he nods and he says, I'm unsure what I would like as payment in response, but it is good to know that it would be a transactional arrangement.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't want to just take without the club if I wasn't going to join.
You would be surprised.
It feels just rather rude to me.
Many first years go to clubs or campuses expecting free help when a lot of the, for lack of a better word, economy of Strixhaven is very give and take from student to student. A lot of people don't seem to understand that a lot of things that people can do for you, they will want coin or recompense because there's frankly too few places where we can receive such resources.
I think that's very fair. If you prefer coin, I could also pay for the plants or herbs.
I think it will just depend on what you ask of me. I wouldn't want to charge you for things that are easy for me to get a hold of. But if you want more extravagant or hard to get things, then a coin definitely eases that burden.
Of course. Well, thank you for the offer, though. I will definitely keep it in mind.
Of course. Have a good day.
Thank you. You as well.
And you leave.
I want him to be my friend.
Das Orc, baby! Das Orc.
That's all.
Okay, where you going now?
Yeah, let me check. I think that was all of the clubs that I wanted to check out for now, but I just want to make sure. I feel like I somehow avoided all of the ones that had hot ladies, and I don't know how that happened.
I don't either.
This is the worst because like this is also in character the ones that Deb would be most interested in, and there's nothing.
I'm sorry. It's a drought. There are hot ladies here, I swear.
They're hiding from me. Okay, I think after this, I actually want Dub to circle back to the dorm room because I want Dub to drop off the viol because I don't want him to always carry it around with him.
Yeah, that's very realistic. That's fair.
Yeah, is anyone in the room when Dub goes back?
In your room, I feel like you've been having kind of long conversations. So I will say yes, but it is Belen mid-trance.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so you see, I believe it's like things are strewn about on her bed, and then she's kind of like crisscross meditating.
Okay. Dub won't bother her, of course.
Okay.
And Dub will just go to open up their trunk and place their viol delicately inside of it.
Okay.
And then let me take a look at my inventory really quick because I also want to go to the remaining dorm room just to introduce myself. I just want to see if there's anything I could take with me.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really glad that you are thinking about actually what you're actually taking with you because I know there's no weight, but it's just nice. It's just nice when you don't always have your stuff on you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll always be able to change it out in my like inventory, like switching it between, but I am remembering like
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have anything that I can give as a gift right now, but that's okay. I think Dove after that will go ahead and head out, and go to the remaining room in the hallway that they haven't gone into yet, and just knock on the door.
So that's gonna be the door across from you, and you knock. And you knock. Sorry, I'm thinking about timeline stuff. Yeah, so you knock. And you kind of hear a generic affirmative noise that's kind of like, huh?
Dub will go ahead and try to open the door a little bit.
Okay, you open the door and you see a woman sort of sitting crisscross on one of the bottom bunks. And what she looks to be doing is that she looks to be like she has like fabric in her hand and she seems to be working at it. And upon looking at it, you actually see that it is the uniforms that you were handed. And the woman that you see, let me get the description. You can tell pretty easily, because of where you come from, that this is a dwarf girl, short and stout and dressed in rich, multicolored fabric. She has salwar pants tucked into sturdy boots and wears a bright golden sash wrapped around her waist, and the sleeves of her blouse are rolled up. She has copper skin and dark eyes, and her face is kind of scrunched up in concentration. She hasn't really looked up at you when you came in, but you can see that she has this sort of healthy auburn beard, braided with golden beads, and it's the same that decorates her loose ponytail. And as she like continues working, she just kind of says, "Yes."
Oh, hello. My name is Dove. I'm actually just across the hallway from you. And I wanted to just introduce myself on the first day.
You see, she looks up at that and she pauses what she's doing, and she kind of gives you a look up and down, and she nods and she says, "Nice to meet you, Dove. I'm Nefay."
It's nice to meet you. Are you working on altering the outfit?
Yes, I wanted to do it myself.
I think that's very fair.
Thank you.
Is it just her in here?
Yes, it is the only person in this room.
I see.
Yes, sorry. There's a timeline of people coming and going, and also people talking to them, and so I had to think really hard about who would be here.
No, that's okay. I get it. Dove will just speak up and say, forgive me if this question is somewhat intrusive, but I've realized that a lot of other first years, are what they're calling planeswalkers and are from worlds other than this one. Would that be true for you as well? I'm not originally from here.
Yes, I'm also not from here. I saw you whenever we came here. You might not remember me. I'm a little below eyesight. It's fine.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm not quite that tall either. Where are you from?
I am from the city of Girapur. I have also come to realize not many people are familiar with Kaladesh, so I don't think that you are.
No, unfortunately, I am from a world called Eberron.
I also don't know that one. This will take some getting used to.
Yes, it's been quite jarring today.
My people are aware of other planes, but apparently not very many, as I haven't heard a single one I recognize.
It's true for me as well. I was lucky enough to meet another person from Eberron, but I don't have any knowledge of what these other worlds or planes.
Are you one of, I believe her name is Falin, one of her roommates?
I am, yes.
She also asked me similar questions, wanting to hear tales from my home. Is that something that also interests you?
I will not turn down stories, but I will also not push if it makes you uncomfortable or you don't wish to share.
No, it doesn't. I would offer the same invitation I gave to her as I would to you. My door is always open, preferably if you have food or drink, but I imagine these sorts of sharing of stories will help the longer we're here, with the eventual homesickness that will surely set in. I do not mind.
That's very kind of you. I don't know how easy it will be for me to make them anymore, considering the cafeteria and kitchen situation. Um, but I do actually very much love to make tea. Do you like that?
I would love if you would brew tea when we all sit around and tell stories of our homes.
All right. Well, remind me next time, and I will be sure to try and get a hold of some.
Of course.
Um, yes, but you said you're from Kaladesh. What is that world like?
Well, it is a plain filled to the brim with craftsmen. Um, we call ourselves that because where I come from, uh, it is actually a plain made of mostly raw ether. And most people, especially families with the resources, know how to make or do something with it. So, as an example, my family makes ether weave. We make our own fabrics and thread. So,
This makes a lot of sense suddenly.
yes. Not to be unhospitable, but if why would I pay someone to do my uniform for me when I can? I don't want to say do better, but you know what I mean.
When you have the experience, it's not bad to do it yourself. It's nice when you can do the work on your own.
Of course. And it also adds a bit of something funny to the idea of going to a magical school when this is something readily accessible to not only my family but my people as a whole. I don't know.
Sounds like a fascinating place to live, though.
It is absolutely splendid. It's filled with wonders from every corner of the plane. And that's not just me bragging.
No, whenever you say the world is full of ether and it's full of wonders, I believe you.
But if you want, you can take a seat and tell me a bit of your home. And she kind of gestures to like the floor by the big table. That's the same as the one in your room.
Yeah, Devil, go ahead and is she like saying to take a seat on the floor?
That's what she seems to be like offering you. Yeah,
Is she also sitting on the floor?
she is sitting on her bed.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Devil, just take a seat on the floor.
Yeah, because there are no chairs in these rooms.
That is very fair.
Here.
And Devil just speak up and say, well, like I said, the world that I come from is called Eberron. It's a bit difficult to describe in one sitting because I never know where to start for someone that's not from the world. But I come from a continent named Corvair, and I grew up in a large city named Shan, and it's the largest city on that continent.
I see.
And oh, what was that?
Oh, she just said, I see, and she's like listening as she's like still fiddling with her uniform.
And Eberron has 12 moons, one essentially for each plane outside of the material plane. And something common where I come from is we have something called manifest zones, which are essentially portals to these other planes that have influence on the material plane. For
how
example,
interesting.
yes, for example, there is one underneath the city of Shan that is connected to a plane all about sky and floating and flying and things like that. So the influence that it has on Shan is that it makes it easier to fly, and there are a few islands about Shan that actually float up in the sky.
Very interesting.
Yes,
These planes,
Shan.
can you travel to them?
Yes, you can. There's not always portals readily available. It actually depends on the fluctuations of the moons. Each moon is connected to a plane. but there are manifest zones all over the world, and you can go to them. I've
Interesting.
never been myself, though.
That is fair. On Kaladesh, there was a portal meant for interplanar travel, but if I recall, it didn't really go anywhere.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Not too sure exactly if it's that we didn't find anything, or maybe it didn't work, or that sort of thing. But I remember hearing a big fuss about it before not really hearing anything else about it.
Oh.
I'm not too sure. It's not exactly my area of expertise, but interplanar travel is, again, something that I've heard of as a concept.
Yes, I myself actually never left my city before this, so this is all not only new to me because it's a new world, but I had no reason to ever leave Sean before.
Ah, I see. So you're fully green.
Yes, whenever we left the hut, it was the first real time I've ever been in the true wilderness.
I also can say that for myself. Girapur is a very sprawling city, and I never really had much of a reason to leave.
Similar situations I see. It was just that Sean had everything. It was, again, the largest city on the continent. It had wards for every occasion you could think of. I'm also realizing, though, that it seems to me that Eberron is more advanced than some other worlds I've heard about. We have some technology that doesn't seem common or heard of in other worlds.
Oh, really?
Yes, the Dragonmark houses actually run most of the larger types of business in the world, and they've made great links to advance their technology there. For example, we have airships and lightning rails.
Oh, we also have airships.
Oh, fascinating.
Yes, again, it's not my area of expertise. I couldn't talk to you at length about them, but we have them. They're fairly common.
Yes, I've never been on an airship. I'm aware generally of how they work, but I'm not in the business of making them myself. Lightning rails are our ground transportation, like a train. They get you over the course of a great distance without getting into the air.
That makes sense. I, as Panini, don't know if Kaladesh has trains, but I mean, they have airships. I feel like they must have had a step before airship. I feel like Nefei would know what a train is. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know if Dub would say like a train, but
Oh, I'm sorry. You said train, so I got confused.
No. I know I said train, but I said like a train, but
Oh.
I feel like lightning rails would also be described as a train, is what I meant to say.
Oh.
So I feel like Dub would still say train. I just didn't mean to word it like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So you can still say that she knows that because you can also still describe a lightning rail as just a train.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Okay, cool. I'm done reading. Sorry, I wanted to read some stuff on Kaladesh really quick to make sure I knew things.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But we have that, and then we also have a mode of communication over long distances from House Civis, which is one of the Dragonmarked houses, and it's networking of communication stops and offices and buildings and the like, where we use sending stones to send messages over great lengths.
Oh, interesting.
Again, I'm sorry if this is a more pieced together description, but it's you take for granted the things you have and are used to until suddenly a person knows not even the foundation of your world.
That's true, is the thing. I feel like I am reminded of it every conversation. It's like you think after one or two times you would know, but you get in the middle of a conversation and you realize everything cultural that you have grown up with is no longer even on the radar of someone else. So, as another example, I guess I should elaborate more on what I meant by uh, that it's funny that I've come to a magic school. Uh, well, in Kaladesh, since magic is so readily available and so suffused into the world, generally when people use it, they don't just pluck it out of the air like a mage. They use it by having it be raw or filtered. It is a resource that we can use that is physically there, as opposed to ether that is manipulated. Uh, Actual mages are not generally trusted where I come from, because being able to manipulate ether at its core is just not a skill people have.
Really, that's quite different.
Yes, it it's interesting. I ran into Philin over on Prismari campus, and if you don't know, um, Prismari has a lot to do with magic using water and magic using other elements, things like lightning and fire. And it was particularly shocking to me to see that because pyromancy is illegal where I come from.
Illegal.
Yes, using fire magic interacts badly with the ether that suffuses our plane. It can wreak a lot of havoc and cause a lot of destruction, and it sort of burns through the ether, which is, as I discussed, a resource. Um, Generally, pyromancers are not tolerated.
I see. I
Yes.
never thought that different worlds would have different effects with magic.
It's very interesting to hear about. I never considered myself a scholar on the subject, but I guess I just realized that from plane to plane, what we know about the world and how it works is very different. Did you know there are vampires here that can walk in the sun?
I did not. Well,
Yes,
actually, I think that was mentioned before, maybe?
it it might have been, perhaps. Perhaps. If
Maybe.
you remember it, then it might have been mentioned.
Okay. Anyway, that's fine. Yes, it is fascinating. Already the things here are so different. The suns and the way that this world works with the snarls and its own form of magic.
And don't get me started on the snarls.
Yeah.
Those are fascinating.
It makes me curious knowing the origins of this world because if it was made from the clashing of two different planes, then I have to wonder what those planes originally were like.
It makes you wonder. I suppose whenever conversations like this come up, I can't help but wonder what they were like and what happened to what was on them when they created this one.
That's
I
also a very
suppose
interesting point.
I suppose planes don't have to have people on them, but I guess I've only ever met people from planes, so I guess my first thought is of the people.
We had quite a few planes back where I was from that, well, no, I think every plane had at least some form of creature or living person on it.
It's just strange to think about, I guess.
Yes. Phelan, did she pester you with questions and take notes?
She did. She took a bunch of notes whenever we first met over on Prismari campus. Downright interrogated me, but as with you, I welcome it. I do not mind it.
I worry that she'll get on the wrong side of someone doing that, but it hasn't seemed to be an issue so far.
I suppose when you're in an institution of learning, maybe it comes off as a bit more, as the quirkiness of intellectuals.
Yes, I think she's at the right place, to be sure. So you were over on Prismari campus. Do you have an interest in that, or were you just looking at it because of the surprise it brought?
I was more looking at it, because of what, Miss Mavinda told us about. Oh, the altering of uniforms and... Call me what you will, but perhaps a bit of me was just curious considering I come from a line of merchants dedicated to cloth and things of that nature. Scoping out the competition is incorrect whenever I am not technically a merchant here, but that's what it felt like. I just wanted to see what it was like.
Of course, you want to compare their skills with your own. I don't see any harm in that.
I think it is a natural want.
So
Who knows,
you
maybe.
do have to pay. You do have to pay for that service, though?
Yes, most students charge. It's not from what I gathered, I talked to many people that were waiting, and they are waiting. They have tables set up outside of the teleportation room.
Oh.
Most students have different prices that they charge. I assume it's by either skill level or confidence. So it takes some time to find somebody with different price points that you might be more comfortable, but I didn't find a single person there who didn't charge.
Interesting. Well, I suppose I'm not too surprised given that earlier I had a conversation with a man at the club room, and he said that most students are wanting a trade of some kind of resource considering that Strixhaven is so isolated.
Yes, I did also get that implication. I heard that Strixhaven is completely self-sustaining, and when you have such a wide variety of students and faculty with different skills, I can see how that would happen.
Yes, that's also what I heard. The nearest town seems to be quite far away. Do you also happen to have any other roommates?
Yes, I have the full 3 that you all should have.
Yes, along with myself, I have 2 other, myself and Phelan, I have 2 others as well.
It seems fortuitous that we had such an even number of first years.
Yes, almost like it was planned.
Fate smiles upon us.
Have the other roommates been good to you so far? It seems like most are getting along rather well. One of our own is a bit prickly, but I have hope that we'll make friends.
Don't worry, I understand that. My roommates are interesting. I enjoy watching their interactions, but I think that speaks more towards how ill-suited they all are to each other. for lack of a better way to describe it, we have uh, two more prickly roommates and one smiley one that doesn't seem to understand that they're being prickly. It's very funny.
Ah, that is worrisome, though enjoyable in its own sense. Um, are they also planeswalkers?
I believe one of my roommates isn't. Aurora, I feel like I gave the impression that she was not one of our group, as it were.
I think that's fair. One of ours is also from here originally.
Yes.
The other two, do you happen to know where they're from?
Alicia didn't say, but Eleni told me that she is from a sea somewhere. She said she grew up under the water. And I accepted that readily.
Yes, Eberron was already a varied world, but with as many fantastical things as I've been hearing today, someone could outright lie to me and I would fully accept it as the truth.
I was just thinking the same thing.
The clubs are going for recruitment and information in the student activities room in the Biblioplex if you're interested.
Oh, yes, I think I heard some people mentioning that during the orientation. I suppose at some point I'll have the time to go look at them.
I have a little club listing here if you're interested.
Oh, I would be willing to look at them. Can I see it?
Yeah, and Dove goes to hand it over and
Nice.
says, the actual club sign up is not for 2 weeks, but some clubs have tryouts already going.
They want that extra manpower early, I see.
Yes, particularly the cheer squad and the play actors guild.
I, as Panini, am rereading the club handout because there's so many goddamn clubs.
Yeah. I don't think there's one for fashion at all, but there is one for I believe it was called the Distinguished Society of Fine Artists that you might enjoy.
Oh, I suppose I could. Even if they don't. Even if, like, fashion is not necessarily something that they take. To be fair, I am also not a fashion designer. I'm just somebody who knows a bit more than the average person about cloth. Still, I think that it would be nice to connect with other craftsmen and the like.
Of course, and I don't mean to pry, of course. I only just met you. I can't say what all your hobbies are for certain. If you ever need plants or herbs or the like, though, I did speak with the man at the horticulture club, and they would be willing to trade with students, perhaps, for any that they'd be willing to spare.
Oh, interesting.
I myself had asked because I wasn't sure to get a hold of things for tea.
I have heard that there are student-run, I guess shops is what you would call them, places of business for students, run by students. So it's good to know that there are multiple places to buy these sorts of things.
I did see something like that under the club listing for the future entrepreneurs of Strixhaven.
Yes. Interesting. Tell me, have you investigated any of the campuses on your own?
Actually, I've not had the chance yet.
Ah, I see. I was just curious.
Have you just been to Prismari so far?
Yes, I only really went to Prismari. I only just got back within the hour or so.
I was actually quite curious about something at another campus, though, so if I have time, I might go and see it.
You should. I think that at the very least, it's definitely interesting on the eyes.
They all seem very different from our standard fare here.
I also get that impression. I've met quite a few eccentrics already.
I was told that there was a fantastic stage in Silverquill campus. It's called the Rose Stage, and it's apparently the biggest and most impressive stage in Strixhaven, and where the Play Actors Guild practices occasionally.
Oh, interesting. Is it just on the campus?
I'm not too sure, but I believe it is.
I don't know much about Silverquill, if I'm honest.
I only know the most basic information about each campus.
I suppose we have the time to figure it out.
I was told that the first 2 weeks will be a sort of orientation for us to get used to everything, and we'll spend a whole day basically doing study on each campus, so we'll have time.
Oh. Well, that's good. I'm sure all of us will need it.
Yes, knowing that we'll have a whole year to pick out which campus to go forth to after this is reassuring, to say the least.
I can definitely understand that.
Do you have any kind of inkling and of an idea of what you would be interested in going to?
Well, if I'm honest with you, I'm unsure if I will stay the full 4 years. At this point,
Really?
I'm sort of just feeling out if this would be something that would even benefit me. I come from a merchant family, so my career of choice and my skills are already not set. I'm sure I could get better, but I'm not really looking for a way to branch out on my own and find like my life path. It's already something that I am pretty comfortable with. So I'm mostly just here to see if I can get some tips and tricks that I can take back home. So I guess we'll have to see if I want to actually get one of the degrees here.
I think even just coming here to see if it would be useful to you is respectable enough, though. I mean, even if it doesn't work out, at least you can say that you had the experience of going to a different world.
Thank you. You would be surprised at how polarizing my opinion on this college would be.
I mean, considering the invitation we all received, we were all taking a gamble coming here anyway. It wasn't going to be for all of us.
It's true. If you talk to other students, I'm not sure if you've gotten this vibe yet, but there's a lot of, I guess you could call them ride or die. People have very strong emotions about this school.
It's almost odd in a way, because from what I've gathered of this world, Strixhaven appears to be where not only the most powerful Snarl is located, but where the most resources and power is located, and I think it's quite odd that a magical school would have that.
I've also noticed this. Do you want to hear a very interesting rumor I heard somebody say to me?
Oh, I would love to.
Did you know that many alumni and students loved their time at Strixhaven so much that the head groundskeeper has been requested to let some people be buried here?
That is incredibly morbid.
It is. I don't know what to make of it. But the idea that somebody is like, yes, I don't want to be buried in my family's mausoleum, or my backyard, or, the normal graveyard in my town. I want my ashes to be buried in a tree on my college campus? Insanity to me.
Indeed, I suppose we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, we're here for 4 years, which is a long time, but in the entirety of someone's life, and they still choose to be buried here of all places? Odd.
Strange. But like I said, take with that what you will. People are very passionate about their studies here, I guess.
It is interesting to hear differing opinions, though. I would rather hear that than have everyone talk about it like it was the greatest thing in the world, I suppose. I can always respect honesty.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. I simply think that looking at things from a realistic standpoint is incorrect, but I think that there's no use in talking things up if it doesn't have anything to back it just yet.
Yes, my roommate that is from here originally, he doesn't he doesn't seem to think the greatest of Strixhaven, and he seems to be quite annoyed whenever we talk about the excitement we had for coming here. And all it does is it makes me want to get to know him better and get his side of the story, I suppose. I want nothing less than to make him uncomfortable.
He sounds like an interesting one. I might need to pick his brain too if he's speaking like how you're saying he is.
His name is Ashawn. He was the one sitting in the corner when we all arrived.
Ah, yes,
with
the one that was
special-
already here.
Yes.
I think he mentioned that he had to walk.
He did. He lives in Heavenfell, the town that's nearest here.
I don't know if I would feel that keen on a school that made me walk here.
He did seem quite annoyed about it, honestly. Well, I can leave you to it if you'd like, or I can keep you company while all your other roommates have gone.
It's really whatever you'd like to do. I don't mind the company, but I definitely know that there's a myriad of other exciting things to be uncovered here.
I would like to keep exploring if that's alright, but I will also extend to you the same invitation of my door will always be open to you if you ever wish for companionship or just more tales of the world.
Oh, don't worry, I'll take you up on it. Safe travels.
You as well. And Dove will stand up and leave the room.
And you leave. How do you like my dwarf?
I do like her very much.
Is dwarf.
I love Dwarf.
Is dwarf. Alright, we're up to about the 2:40 mark. Is there anything else you want to do before we wrap up the mini session? You have a little bit of time before your max.
This is very true. I think... I think I will actually go to Silver Quill campus, possibly, to see the Rose stage.
Oh, that would be really fun. I have to go and open it really quick. That's not a campus anybody's gone to yet. You guys all went to different campuses. This is so fun.
Oh, wow.
And I just picked out the music for it today. Okay, so what we're gonna start with first is that you're gonna go to the teleportation room. So I have to explain the teleportation room to you first. So you go up to the biblioplex and you go into it, and it's a room that's very easy to find because the doors are like always open. People are coming and going. And there are students that you can tell some are first years, but most are people with like actual college colors on. And you come in, and it's this simple room with the same white marble walls as the biblioplex. And in the center, there's like an upraised platform with this sort of arcane circle, like a sigil. You would probably recognize it as somebody from Eberron as something similar to a teleportation circle, but not quite. And people are coming and going, and they're like blinking out of existence and blinking into existence and coming and going. And beside the platform is the figure of this woman, this person who has like these sort of soft curves under like gray robes that administration wear. Long dark hair that frames a heart-shaped face with eyes closed and a serene smile, hands clasped in front, and a pair of beautiful white wings tucked really politely behind them.
Oh.
Yes, and as you walk up, they smile at you and they say, "Hello, are you a new student?"
I am, yes.
You see them smile at you, and they don't really say anything for a second, as they kind of stand really still, and then they nod and they say, "All right, you've been added to the system as a new student, and you can now use the teleportation network. Where would you like to go?"
I'd like to go to Silverquill campus, please.
All right, please step on the platform.
That will step on the platform.
And you hear the person also call out to other people that are around, like saying, "Oh, to Silverquill campus." And some people get up with you, and you are teleported. It's not as extreme as your plane shift was. It's just for a second you're not there, and then a second later you're in a new place. And let me put the music.
Oh,
Isn't it so exciting to explore?
exciting. Sorry if I feel like more low energy this time. I got really tired for some reason.
I'm also really tired. I'm thinking about showing you these couple of places and then cutting it because we are tired. Okay, can you hear the music?
I think I have to turn it up a little bit. Oh, wait. Yes, I can hear it.
Okay, cool. So you teleport in, and you're now in a similar room as you were just in. It's like a square room with doors open, people coming and going. But now it's kind of this. It's the same white marble walls, but it has this beautiful like black and gold accenting to it, and it has sort of like this beautiful rug at the floor underneath the stairs. And something that you also notice is that the same person that you saw as like the attendant of the teleporter is still standing in the same place. Wings tucked politely behind them and hands clasped in front of them.
Dev will step off the circle and actually go up to approach them.
They turn to you and smile and they say, "Hello, how can I help you?"
Just a question out of character. Are their eyes like not opening at all?
Nope.
Dev will speak up and say, I just had a question if that's all right. I was actually just curious about how you added me to the system, you said?
Yes, we recognize the I suppose essence or ether of individual students so that they are allowed to use the teleportation network. We do this to ensure that people who are not associated with the college can get on the campuses. It's a part of one of our protection services, you see.
Oh, and you did that mentally, or?
Yes, we do it. It is our job.
When you say we, what does that mean exactly?
We are Hashmal, and we run the teleportation network. There are 6 of us.
Apologies if this is intrusive, but I'm rather new here, and I'm not sure what... Is Hashmal your name?
Yes.
And there are 6 of you.
Yes.
Are you an angel?
I am an angel.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
Oh, well, I suppose that answered all of my questions then. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
And you leave the room.
Oh my god!
Do you like my angel?
I love your biblically accurate angel because it doesn't look, like a flaming wheel, but there are six of it.
I love how I hope you like how I hope it comes off as unsettling.
Yes.
It's what I wanted.
Whenever they said that, I'm like, is this a robot that I'm talking to?
Kind of.
Anyway, I will depart.
The room. Delicious. So I'm going to describe the campus, but I'm also going to give you a picture of the map so you can see the aesthetic of the architecture, because all of the maps look different, and this will make it easier to describe what this campus looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and give you some visuals really quick.
Oh, I didn't realize there was different maps. That's so cool.
Yes.
Oh, it looks so cool.
Okay, I think these are the two. Yeah. These are what the
Ooh,
buildings look like.
that's so cool.
Yes. So you step off out of the teleportation room, and you see this wide expanse of a campus with this elegant architecture, very old looking, very classic, with these accents of gold and black. And you can also tell that there are accents in the architecture that look almost like pen nibs.
I see that.
Yes. And all of the buildings give off this sort of stately elegance to them. And you see people are milling about. It's not as populous here as it was on the main campus at all, but you do see that people are milling about wearing very crisp and stylish black and white uniforms. Most of the uniforms give off the effect of being very tailored and elegant. And what are you doing? You gonna just wander around?
Specifically trying to find where the roast stage is.
Okay, I will say that you can do that. Do you want to roll me an investigation?
Oh, a roll. Oh, 13.
13, delicious. So with that, you can find it very easily enough. It's actually right next to where you are, so it wasn't that hard to find anyway. And you see it's in a building that almost looks like a coliseum.
Oh,
And you go in. Let me look at this really quick. And you go in and you see it has this giant amphitheater, almost like a coliseum, ringing this stage. And it has two layers. It has one that's a bit higher and the one that's lower. And it has this sort of rose emblem etched into the wood of the stage. But what's even more fantastical is this backdrop of. It's not a solid backdrop. If anything, it's almost like roses of swirling ink are floating in the air behind the stage. And it's honestly awe-inspiring to take in the scope of this.
wow.
Yeah.
Where is it on the little map that you showed me?
Oh, it's right here.
Right, okay, I thought it was that one. And if they're able to, I would like them to go inside.
Yes, you're already inside to come look at it.
Sorry.
Yes, you're on like the top step of like the amphitheater stairs. That is what this description was, because you're inside it now.
I see. Is there
Yes.
anyone on the stage or anything?
Um. what's interesting actually right now is that there is no one here. And if anything, that kind of adds to this scale and the feeling of the space that you're in, because this is a place that's meant to be full of energy and full of people with these amazing performances and people watching enraptured. And from what you can see, you're the only person here.
Yeah, I can believe that with how busy it's been. I think Dove will kind of just slowly walk down the steps
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just take in this massive place that's meant for huge performances and events
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just stay there for a little bit, just kind of taking in the surroundings.
Yeah, you slowly step closer and closer to the stage, and you realize that past the rows of seating is a place where you can definitely tell there must be like where a band or an orchestra would be to accompany, and you can see there are stairs in the back leading up, and you walk up onto the rose stage, and you kind of just take in what it could feel like to actually perform there in a place that's meant to be seen by so many people.
I think Dove just kind of smiles to themselves. Um, and after a little bit goes ahead and gets off the stage and will slowly go to leave.
Delicious. So you go to leave. Where would you like to go? Would you like to go back to your dorm room? Is there something you want to do at our cutoff?
Um, I do want to keep looking around, but I think for now, Dove will go ahead and just leave Silver Quill. Um, and we'll, I think, just go ahead and go back to the dorm room
Okay.
and probably just start getting their stuff like situated away in the room.
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely do that, and I'll say that that's what you're doing when we come back to the session, because your time is up.
Yeah,
How'd you feel about it?
it was very fun.
You learned a lot of cool things.
I did. I didn't have a chance to keep up with my notes because it's very hard when you're in a mini session by yourself.
Yeah, because there's nobody else talking.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go back through like tonight or tomorrow morning and do that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I forgot to change the backdrop, but that's okay because I'm gonna make the like I already sent you the pictures of the campus, and I'll put the thumbnail a picture of this campus. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now.